Hi, today I'm going to talk you through how to begin working a web quest through using the website Zunal.com. On Zunal.com, you have the opportunity to go in and use a web quest that has already been built. Let's look at the English or language. Um, you can go in and you can click on it. It'll actually take you through. It'll tell you what grade levels there are. It will tell you what if you are working grades 6 through 8 and you want to see what there are. They have already built web quests for punctuation, social awkwardness, and counting by sevens. Hard Times at Hooverville, the Wizard of Oz review. So there's an awful lot of different ideas and different ones that have already been generated and built. If you want to go through and use one of these, all you have to do is to go on. You can click it, and it will take you through the actual web quest. You could give just your students this piece of information and you could go in and begin working on it. The thing I love about using a web quest is that, especially to begin a novel or to begin a unit study, you can give your students so much more background information. This one's on the book Holes. So if I go through, hi, I'm Stanley. You might remember me, my friend Zero from Camp Green Lake. We had some good times. Well, not really, but we learned a lot of things during our adventures. So what this does is this kind of just gives you a little bit of a background of going through and kind of learning a little bit about the actual novel itself. Then it takes students through a task. The task is what the students' expectations are within this web quest itself. Homelessness, racism, juvenile corrections. So it says, I'll expect you and your partners to dig only one hole, so make sure it's a good one. Don't forget to depend on your partners, and let's start digging. It'll take you actually through making absolutely certain that you have everything that you need. You can click onto different things and it will take you to different websites. If you decide you want to work on homelessness, this is on hole 1. And again, it allows for that voice and that choice. It allows for different students to learn different things at different opportunities. And it's an easy way, if you already know what your end goal is, if you've actually used your end assessment and worked your way backward, this is a great way for students to actually not have to navigate through and find something that is not good information. We know we've taught the students, or hopefully we've taught the students, how to look at websites and determine if websites are valid or not. But this gives you an opportunity to give them several different websites to look at so that they don't have to use that at this point in time. Going through, you can build whatever you want to put into it. So each one of those holds 1, 2, and 3. At the end down here, it then asks for student feedback. What kinds of things would you be looking for? What kinds of questions do you want to ask the students? And again, it allows the students the opportunity to really delve deeper into content and have a better understanding of homelessness or of whatever your topic is before you begin reading. They always try to end it up with doing some sort of an evaluation or conclusion. And in that, that's where I personally have just built one. And in that is where there are some sort of rubrics to kind of give students an idea what sorts of things are you looking at. It is easy to already have these rubrics and then just to copy and paste them to embed them directly in. on these Zunal websites, you also have the opportunity to embed video, music, art, so it's not just one specific content. Here is one that I have just recently built. We just started Al Capone Does My Shirts with my students. And one of the things that I felt like was really important for my students to understand was the idea of Alcatraz and where does Alcatraz come from. This is exactly what the students would see then whenever they go to my WebQuest. We have something called Moodle that we use, so the only thing I've had to give them is the actual URL. On mine, I built it, and I kind of gave the students an overview in the introduction about the book. What sorts of things are they going to be looking for? What kinds of things can they learn through characters of the book? What can you do? Then on my task, I actually went through and I had each group member was to become an expert on either Al Capone, Alcatraz, or autism. All three of these are large components to the novel, and you kind of need some background information about those three before you begin reading. The one thing I found is that if you have students begin to research on their own Al Capone, there are things out there that for sixth graders probably not real pertinent to them. There's also information and words that are used that are going to lead to possibly some concerns with your parents. So I went through and I actually built this, and in the process I gave them the opportunity. I gave them information on how can you build background information about this, how can you find facts about this, what types of things are you going to be expected to do, and then in researching Alcatraz, if that was the one that you wanted to research. So I went through and actually did most of it for them. So instead of seeing a URL here, you actually see what that link would take you to. I really love that opportunity for students to have that. In the evaluation here, I've actually, all I did was just embed what the students' expectations were going to be. I didn't do a complete rubric because I used peer feedback on this. So I opened this up in my Noodle page, or Moodle page as well, so that students could, underneath here, so on this sentence, they would be able to click on it, and then they would be able to add peer feedback. What things did they see were positive, or what things did they see maybe we needed to go back over and reuse. Then in the conclusion, give us your feedback. Tell us what you thought, what worked well, what didn't work well, and that would actually take you to our online Moodle page, and we set up a blog there so that students had the opportunity, if anyone through NISD, Northwest ISD, would have the opportunity then to give us information about what they thought was working well, what kind of information they still needed, what sorts of help they were needing to have throughout the project. So it was also some feedback for the teacher themselves. I used this with 3 different teachers. I built it. We all used it. There were some things we definitely need to work on, but some things that we loved and the kids loved. And these are 3 of the projects that my students will actually be presenting, how they decided to do their brochures or their pamphlets or their newsletters, that they will be presenting on Techno Expo through NISD on Thursday, February 27th. So I hope you give this an opportunity, and again, go through, look at it, see what you can use. Anytime you need to build background information for any type of topic, math, science, social studies, history, government, anything, try it. See what you can come up with.